Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Christina Gamache. I'm a growth strategist for women business owners, and I teach them how to increase profitability, pay themselves, and save for the next chapter. And I do this through financial planning, investment management, and fractional CFO services. I'm so excited to introduce you to two true Renaissance powerhouses here today. We have Malik Yoba and Jean Marie Keevins. Malik Yoba, he is a three-time NAACP Image Award winner and probably best known for his roles in Cool Runnings, Empire, and New York Undercover. He has proven himself to be much more than what first meets the eye. As an actor, writer, director, producer, musician, activist, educator, and inspirational speaker, his quest to live a purpose-filled life and not only entertain, but also educate old and young alike in communities across the world on the value of accountability, integrity, and leadership. And oh my gosh, we need that right now. He was shot at the age of 15, and this near-death experience in high school solidified his belief in personal and social responsibility and spurred him towards a life of service, creativity, volunteerism.
You can stop reading now, right?
No, people need to know this. I am like inspired by you, for real. He's made it his life mission ever since to use the arts as his weapon of choice. He's been recognized by or worked with US Presidents Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, the Congress of the United States, the Mayor of New York, NYPD, UNICEF, McDonald's Black Achievers, Hale House, the Ethiopian Children's Fund, and so many others. He's well sought after for inspirational speaking, and he presents workshops to corporations, prisons, colleges, universities, churches. And it's so wonderful to meet you, Malik. Your life is an inspiration for all of us. So thank you so much for being here, supporting these amazing women today.
Thank you, Christina.
And now I'd like you to introduce you to the hostess with the mostest, Jean Marie Keevins. I'm going to make you blush here, okay? So I first met Jean Marie through an online webinar last year. And I think we immediately connected. She reached out and we had virtual coffee from New York City, where you all are, to Anchorage, Alaska, where I am. And even in the middle of a pandemic, Jean Marie has been busy doing whatever she thinks is needed for her community. She's a woman of action, but a woman with a giant heart. So in the midst of this pandemic, she was putting her ideas into action for others and for you guys here today. She made face masks. She started Clarity Labs. She started a coaching and consulting business, and she taught and she gave more of herself than ever before. She's a true leader and does so with her heart on her sleeve. So if you look at her biography, it is also equally as impressive. I won't go through all of it today, but I did go in and find some testimonials that I wanted to share with you guys. And these are just some of the things that people say about Jean Marie, and I wholeheartedly agree. She's a guardian angel. She helped me move forward. She helped me find the confidence. And I love this one. She helped me open doors I thought were impossible to open. She brought my vision to life. She's incredibly professional, but also kind and humorous. So as you've heard, Jean Marie is not only an accomplished artist, business owner, and producer, she's the type of person who gives of herself in order to lift others up. And I want to emphasize today's event. Today is about her book launch that she turned into a collaboration of women entrepreneurs and champions. So today we celebrate all who are launching new and exciting initiatives. And I'm especially thrilled to introduce you to the one and only Jean Marie Keevins with her guest, Malik Yoba.
Thank you, Christina. And with all of that, and you're right, you made me blush, I do want to also point out that Christina is celebrating the 1-year anniversary of her company that she launched during COVID. So well done, Christina. And thank you so much for insisting on introducing me, because you're right, I never would have done that. So thank you. Yeah, so today we are launching my new meditation ebook called 52 Simple Weekly Meditations to Guide You Through Life's Transitions. And this book came out of COVID. At the top of COVID, I was really struggling, like so many, and people were calling me for help. And I was like, I don't have anything left in the tank for you right now. I want to, but I don't. And I started meditating on that. And what do you do with that when you believe that your life is meant to be spent in service and you don't have it? And so I started putting those meditations online, and this like groundswell started to happen where, I would see two people like something, and I'm like, okay. But then I would get private messages from people I haven't heard from in years. And I was like, wow, people are paying attention. They need it. They need to question things. They need to get excited about things. They need to own their sadness about things. Um, and I've been somebody who spent my life in transition. I think we all do. And so I just decided to put it together and make it my next endeavor. And part of that came from talking with you. I was hoping that we could talk a little bit about taking care of your spirit and what that looks like.
Ooh, Nelly.
Let's get in there. Let's get in there.
Yeah. So one of the things I did today was I walked barefoot in the grass in Prospect Park as part of my daily walks, health walks. I was like, I just need to be connected to, to source, to nature. And it's something about walking, connecting to your city, to your space, to your neighborhood, whatever. But literally just being very present, enjoying the breeze, feeling the sun on your face, listening to the birds, just giving thanks. So been dealing with a lot of loss and health issues. And so death, and just, to your point about when you believe you have a life of service and you have nothing in the tank, what do you do? And sometimes it's like when you're driving and you see your car, it's approaching E, but even if you're in E, you might have 15, 20 miles left when it's showing you E. But sometimes you can feel like that gauge is getting close to E. So what do you do? And I think it's always just simply remembering to breathe, to be present, like truly in the moment. Because a lot of times, stuff we're stressing out over is the past or the present or the future. It's generally not the present.
Yeah.
Because if you're able to like think about the past or the future, like, you're usually in a safe environment. Mm-hmm. So today was walking in the grass and feeling connected, mm-hmm. and just gratitude. Yeah. And then honoring the losses with living and living fully. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. You just were talking about just breathing, right? And the minute you said it, I took a breath. Sometimes we just need to be reminded, and trying to stay ahead of that can be a job, a job in itself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day about just the transitions that are happening and stuff, and I was thinking about a conversation that we were having where I was like spinning out, like I was just letting it fly, and you said, "Where's center?" And I was like, ah. Like sometimes that's all you need, is that like moment of like just be there for a second.
Yeah.
For me, that's this COVID process has been a daily reminder of that every day. Like, all right, you're awake. How lucky are you?
Yeah. I mean, having survived COVID. And I think the other thing that's going on is that we're sharing the collective trauma energetically. So even if we aren't articulating it, and we do experience a lot of the articulation of it, whether it's posts online or debate, whatever it might be, right? This whole sort of aspect of who we are has been unearthed, whether people are debating about vaccines, mask mandates, like this other side of who we are that nothing else in our lifetime has inspired the kinds of conversation. So there's that, the noise that we can hear and we can recognize. And then there's the stuff that happens. It's like when you remember early days in the pandemic, trying to go to the supermarket and people weren't talking and they weren't looking at each other and everybody was afraid and nothing was said, but there was a palpable fear. And I think that collectively we're carrying that, right? And I think a lot of it is, say, social media, because you're just scrolling along. Ah, man, this person died too. Ah, another one died. Ah, man, this fucking earthquake hit this, or this pandemic, or this flood, or this fire. And so there's this bombardment of this information. And then there's the personal survival. Will I make it to another day? And so I think we're all being asked to connect deeper with self, which essentially means with source, and however you slice it, God, whatever it is that you connect with. It's, we realize, how insignificant we are, but how significant we are at the same time, and finding that balance. And so, again, I'm in a period where it's very, very real for me, for all of us, but like life and death, it's like right there, staring it in the face. And being asked to experience myself in a different way, and don't even know fully what that is yet.
Right.
But taking it moment by moment and saying, okay, in this moment, am I okay? In the next moment, am I okay? Yeah, you are. You're safe. You're good. Yeah.
Sometimes I think why you and I connect, other than we're both absurd, is that we both say yes to the exploration.
Right.
Like, oh, this is where we are. Okay. Right. Where am I going? Or do I need to just be where I am right now?
Right.
Am I looking forward or am I holding tight? Okay, great. That's where I am. Fine. I don't know that everybody has been imparted with those skills. I think it's a learned skill for some.
1000%. No, I think for all. We don't, human beings, like the stuff that's innate is fight or flight.
Yes.
Oh, shit just freaking me out. I'm out.
Right.
Scared, I'm out. Survive. But then the learned part is like recognizing the innate, sort of instinctual response. But then there's the benefit of being human is the ability to process and question and consider and ponder. Oh, okay. So walk in the grass, it'll do you good.
Yeah.
The big one.
What I love
When
about
it's still warm out, at least we can do it in New York. I don't know about our friend in Alaska, Christina.
I don't know if she's walking in the grass right now. What I love about that is that you're also touching on celebrating, right? Like when we connect, we celebrate where we are, what is true. And I love that in this time, in this season of my life, the people that I'm surrounding myself with, we both have massive networks of people, and that is a blessing. But there are moments where that can be too much. And the people who I'm surrounded by, or I'm choosing to be surrounded by, are the people who live in my truth with me. Who, when I am a goofball, they are there. And when I am deep in it and feeling it, they are there. They are authentic and being who I need in themselves, right? They're bringing their whole selves and showing up and allowing me to just be. And I hope I'm doing the same. There's those days that you're like, oh, I didn't deliver. But all you can do is bring what you have in that moment. But I think what's really interesting is that truth, right? When you talk about walking in the grass, You know, I was just saying to somebody earlier, whenever I'm stressed out, I have this pattern of breaking glasses. I cannot hold a glass. I knock them over, I break them washing the dishes. They're like everywhere. And I have been
Isn't that like a trait of being Irish?
Thank you. Just go there.
Alcohol involved? Probably.
No,
Yeah, there was. Come on.
no. This is
You're
wonderful.
among friends. You're among friends.
Yeah. So, not that there wouldn't be, but not those glasses. It's everywhere, dude. I break them all the time. And I pulled out these plastic cups and I started laughing because this is not funny, but funny. I cleaned my entire department and I feel so good. And I take my shoes off when I walk in the door, as we do in New York.
And step on some glass.
You know it. There's 3 pieces in my feet right now. Please figure out how to get them out. But every time I step, I'm like, you know what, Jean Marie? You were being reminded to slow down, and you didn't. Right? I know that that's when that's happening.
Right.
I know it. When I lose
Plus, you got to get glass in your foot to like be reminded. But hey,
I mean, I shouldn't need that. I lose my keys. I lost my keys the other day. Slow down. Slow down. You know? And that's why I want to see you the other day. Like, gotta just like bring it in.
Right.
Because my brain was on fire.
Well, congratulations on getting the book done, by the way.
Thank you. Who knew?
Turning a thought into a thing.
I did it. I did the thing, dude.
You did. You did.
I'm very excited about it.
Proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't feeling like I was finishing anything.
That's important.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's part of it too, especially for creative people, to complete things.
Yes.
Be able to check things off the to-do list, to have that sense of victory and the satisfaction of seeing something through, rinse and repeat.
Yes.
And that keeps you motivated and inspired. And when you do get in a funk, sometimes even just working through the funk, despite how you feel. God, I'm not inspired. I don't know what I'm doing. This sucks. I suck. But you just keep going, and then you have those happy accidents, new discoveries, and you're like, wow, I'm so glad that I pushed through when I really felt like shit, because now I have this.
Yeah.
And so that's what I know as a creative being, and choosing a life of an artist and an entrepreneur and all of its manifestations, which essentially means we're always dreaming, always reaching, always needing to keep the faith because we don't know.
Yes.
And then things manifest, and then you keep going and something else, and then that's what, you know. So it's I think we're being asked again, like, because of the time, to go even deeper.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Would you touch on, we both love real estate porn. Will you touch on your
buildings are my thing.
Yeah, I know. Will you talk about that a little bit? Because you know that's inspiring to me, and I look forward to being able to contribute in that way. But can you talk about how that has been part of your
real estate?
Spirit? Well, yeah, but part of your spiritual calling has been attached to that.
Well, that's pretty big. I was looking, like, there's a few real estate books behind me. Well, it's interesting because as I was talking about the just keep going. So one of the projects that I am involved in as it relates to real estate and speaks to what I think you mean when you say a spiritual calling is the Real Estate Mixtape, which is my doc series on real estate development and my journey into development, my desire to expose other people, particularly people of color, Black people specifically, who have been denied participation from a government policy perspective for generations, which isn't widely known American history, but it impacts everything we do every day. Because the reality is we're all in the real estate business, either we're the consumer or the owner, but we're all connected to real estate, whether we think of ourselves in that, in those terms or not. So the doc series is intended to number one, show Black folk, and in some cases Latino and Asian, but primarily Black people, in spaces we normally don't see them in the ecosystem of the real estate business. So whether it's developers, engineers, architects, we see construction workers because you can visibly see them walking around the city. But a lot of times people don't know who's financing these projects, who's designing them, who are the interior designers. So that's important. And I remember working on this project, which in my mind is a collage. It's an art film that happens to be about real estate, because I didn't want it to be academic. I wanted it to be inspirational, but and aspirational, but not too, like I said, academic and heavy. I want it to be something you can press play, be inspired, be moved by some music or a cool shot, and be like, oh shit, I learned some, I didn't know that. Oh, cool. Right. And I remember like working on this thing and talking to a friend of mine. I was stuck creatively. And he saw it the first episode. I think I was working on the second episode. And I was like, bro, I just feel stuck creatively. I think what I'm doing is like shit. Like, I don't know, because I'm experimenting. Right, here's the information. I shot it. In my mind, when I was shooting, it was kind of like I'm Anthony Bourdain traveling from the Hamptons to like Newburgh, New York, and all over the city with these 7 young people I'm exposing to the business. And it was sort of like shoot and then figure out. You have an idea what the stories are going to be, but while you're shooting, other things happen. But my friend says to me, he goes, I really love that first episode, how you did that and what you did and how you present the information. And it really shows your point of view as a director. And he goes, the reason why you think it sucks and the reason why you're struggling is because you're creating something that never existed before. And you're creating art and you're doing something groundbreaking and revolutionary. So of course you feel that way. And I remember like just thanking him. I was like, bro, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. And I just got busy and started editing again. And then just really leaned into, one, I call it the real estate mixtape for a reason, because there are no rules in terms of how I can present this information. As long as I meet my objective, which is showing Black people in these spaces with the sole purpose of inspiring other Black and brown people to say, oh, I didn't even know that was a job. I didn't know I can do that. Oh, I thought like, oh, it's they. Here they come building. Here they come. They. Well, who the hell is they?
Right.
How do we become they? So telling those stories is important. Educating the people is important. Inspiring them. I have a teacher in New York at a school on the Lower East Side, a high school. She's actually developing a curriculum around this doc series, which I love because I shared it with her and she lost her mind because she's already teaching young people, her students, about the importance of understanding their relationship to the built environment. And so I expect that we'll be able to scale that at, ultimately to get it to every student in New York, because I think it's important. Yeah. Like no one is really teaching young people about this on purpose, right? And we're gonna be the ones, and people younger than us are gonna be the ones to inherit the city. So they should really have a better understanding of what's going on and who's making it happen. And then personally on the development side itself, I had to get involved. My first development project I tried to do in New York was, I was 17 and I tried to get a BMX track built in Central Park. I didn't think about it as development at the time. I just knew that there was nowhere for me and my friends to ride our bikes. And we had to ride over the bridge to go to, North Bergen, New Jersey to race at Braddock Park or race at the Jersey City Armory, but there was nothing in New York. And so I met with the Parks Department at 17 and proposed building a BMX track, and dudes looking at me like, yeah, okay, yeah, no, never gonna happen. But he appreciated my gumption. But I just knew that I wanted to make the city a better place. I wanted to improve the quality of life. I didn't know to call it that. I just knew kids need a place to ride their bike. I love racing. We should have these spots. So I'm happy to see like as years pass, there's many more skate parks in the city,
Yeah.
and those didn't exist at all in the
Right.
80s when I was meeting with the Parks Department. But growing up in the South Bronx and Harlem in the 60s and 70s when shit was burnt out, and I go downtown around my white friends and they live by Park Avenue and Fifth Avenue and Central Park, and I'm like, why does our shit look fucked up uptown? I want to do something about it. And so I asked a lot of questions, got to meet some developers, let them know my ambition, and I was able to get a seat at the table, which I still have. And so the first, aside from like buying personal real estate, personal homes, and, not that I was flipping them, but, you sell them over, I never bought personal homes to flip, but I was more interested in development and, multifamily. And so having an opportunity to be involved in a project in Baltimore called Center West, where the first phase, we built 2 buildings, 264 units that are 100% leased up, 20% affordable, 80% market rate, workforce housing, Class A, luxury in an area that hasn't seen new development in 50 years, Black developers, showing by example that it's possible for us to be in this space. As hard as hell. It's not easy. Access to capital is always going to be an issue, at least short term. Hopefully things get better moving forward, but that's important to me.
Yeah.
And the spiritual side of it is, it's still a service. It's still saying, how do I occupy a space and make it better than it was when I found it? How can I be of service to lift someone else up? And providing a home where people feel safe, in a neighborhood where they could feel safe with,
Yeah.
great lighting, where you can walk your dog at night, in a city that is often portrayed in the media as just destitute and, crime ridden. And there's a lot of great people that live in that city and live in the county and the state of Maryland, and, coming from DC in some cases, or New York, that want to see the city win.
Yeah.
And are doing what they can to improve it. And so, no different than projects I'm pursuing in New York, same thing. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. And congratulations, by the way. I don't know if I ever said that to you about filling that building. I know that was quite a feat. I did enjoy one day seeing you on social sweeping the street outside, because that is where it's at, right? It's being
Yes.
in every way. Just
And part of
showing
it's being Virgo. I just don't understand why people throw shit out the window of their car and just litter. Like,
what is that?
and I also understand we got to teach. Like, I was out there with one of the employees. Like, you come to work, who's a doorman. This may not be your job and your job, but I want you to know you're the first person that people see after they walk from the street. If you walk in the street and you see a potato chip bag in the landscaping, pick it up. Because that's the way I was raised. My father was that dude. I didn't put that there. You live here, pick it up. And so wanting to teach not just the residents, but the employees, and especially when you're dealing with people who don't come from much, from a financial perspective or education background, opportunity background, and you really taking a fish out of water.
Yes.
And you're saying, I know you lived in, you might have been in a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
You might have, that we do have a formerly homeless woman that before she moved in, she was homeless. And, with a job, 2 jobs actually, and, sometimes you have to go that extra mile to teach people. I know you might be used to piss in the hallways or, dog poop, or like, that's not what we do here.
Right.
And when they see you, and my partner lives in the property, and when I'm there, they see me, it just changes their perception of what's possible. And they tell you, you know, wow, I never thought I'd meet somebody like you guys that like could build something like this and, you know, make me feel like I can do more.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that also is the spiritual side of it. Like, it's not just for profit. It's not just business, but it's the business of human development,
There you go.
not just real estate development.
There you go. It's funny when you said that about the chip bag. When I was a kid, my mother used to pull over the car and make us get out and pick up the trash. And I didn't really think about it until one day a friend threw something out the window and my mother pulled out the car and said, "Get that." And she was like, "But I don't need it anymore." My mom said, "It's my planet too. Get out of the car. You can walk home." And my friend just looked at me and I was like, "Oh no, this happens to me all the time." And I didn't throw anything out of the car. But from that, my respect for all things living around me is unmistakable because it was infused in me. And when I don't see it, rather than getting angry with people, I, in the past few years, have started thinking, well, okay, where did that come from? How do we change that? How do we teach that? You know, there's a gentleman who's been walking around the neighborhood that we ran into, a young kid who needs help, you know, and he needs money, and I buy him food sometimes and stuff.
Chubby kid?
Yes, and
But I'm very confused. I'm not convinced he's hungry.
Thank you, thank you.
Especially since we have community fridges in the neighborhood.
We have a lot of them.
Yeah.
And the other day I ran into him and I didn't have anything on me. Sometimes they give him an apple or something, you know. We're done with you get $1. And I was thinking about it and I thought, you know what I'm gonna offer him next time he comes to me? I'm gonna offer him coaching. I'm gonna tell him I will meet you in that park every Tuesday until you have a job, until you have a home, until everything is straight. And if you say no to that, then I can't do anything for you. But I'm gonna show up for you in that way.
Well, he's going somewhere because there's no way you could be that big.
Thank you.
And it's been a while. It's been over a year. Like I started seeing that kid last year. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's going on there, you know? Because he's a kid.
Yeah,
And
he's
he's
or he could be 35. You know, black don't crack. So, you know,
hey,
he
I'm
looks like
looking
he's
pretty
19.
good.
He's 19 or 35.
Yeah, well, you said it, but I'm looking good for my white self. So we'll just.
You are. I like, you know.
Thank you. I'm going to take that. So, my dear friend, I am so grateful for you. I don't even know if we talked about the topic at hand completely, but
Did we?
do. I don't know, but we do on the
What's
regular.
the topic again?
Taking care of your spiritual practice.
Started walking in the grass.
There we go.
Making sure you meditate. Making sure you breathe.
Yes.
This is the recap.
This is why I need you.
This is the recap.
This is the recap.
Yeah. Recognizing that thing that keeps your blood warm. You know, I was at the wake of a friend of mine who just passed last week. And it's interesting, wakes, because they do a job of trying to present the physical form of the person you knew to the best of their ability. And I've never seen it done right. You're never going to look like the person. It just looks like, you know, a weird doll or something. What was interesting is that above the casket, there were these videos and still images, actually. And how even in a still image, the spirit was still alive. And if he's smiling, you felt his life force, even if it's a still image. And it's fascinating, you know, so that having that experience, like, wow, I'm looking at a body and then I'm looking at the photograph, and the photograph is giving me so much more life. Obviously, because he was alive when they captured that moment. And then the stories that people shared and the energy and the love, and it's palpable. And so the spirit also lives within us that is still living. But that thing that keeps the blood warm, so the body's laying there cold, that thing is gone. That's the part that we have to take care of, that we can't see. We can feel it. We can recognize it when we experience it. But like the wind, we can't see it. And that's the part that's hard, I think, for a lot of people, because you can't see it, but you feel it. You know, when you wake up and you feel alive and ready to take on the day. You know, when you wake up and you feel despondent or unsure, what have you. And so it's recognizing that this is how the spirit moves.
Yeah.
And then what do we need to do this?
Yeah.
So we're never too low and we're never too high, but we're right somewhere calibrated so that we can ride those waves with relative peace
Yeah.
in our heart and our mind. And in order to do that, one, you got to recognize the spirit that it's there, that even though you can't see it, does it exist, and that it needs to be nurtured.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so in a recap, the breathing reminds you when you take in that air, you are alive. That blood is still warm. That spirit is still within you.
Yeah.
And so part of it is just talking to it, acknowledging it, saying thank you. Staying in gratitude. That's the other thing too. When you feel like shit,
Yes.
make a gratitude list.
Yeah.
Because that list is always going to be longer. The things you can actually, if you take the time, because it's easy to make the things that you don't like, that list really long. But when you stop and really think about all the things to be grateful for, oh, my legs still work today, my eyesight, my hearing, oh, I can still taste today. Oh, my brain is functioning. I don't have fog. I can, which from being post-COVID, how, how challenging that is. So I think this is a good time because then we can do this kind of thing. We can all learn and share together.
Yeah, I love what you just said, and I know we're wrapping up, but the visual. I love a good visual. This line, to me, that's presence, right? When you hit that stasis, you're present. You're there for whatever it is that's happening in your whole self. Those are those moments, and every time you hit it, if you can embrace it and celebrate it and be in it, wow, like where do we go from there? We get big. And God willing, and I'm not just saying this to you, like I'm saying this to anybody who's watching, but in those moments, not only are we embracing who we are, but that's where you can get silly and have some fun. Right? Like when you're not really there, you're not gonna get to have some fun. And to me, those moments are like,
oh, you're gonna miss a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's when the things appear in art, in music, all of it, acting.
Yeah.
Like, because you're so present, you allow the space to receive. So this is good though. This is good stuff. I think it's important. Because a lot of people don't have a practice.
Yeah, well, that's
just sort of wake up and go through it and stumble through life. And so this is good that you're doing this.
And sometimes
I know where it comes from for you. So
yeah, it's real.
This is what you call turning poison into medicine.
Thanks, friend. Sometimes we have to reinvent our norms, right? We have to reinvent our practice, and that's cool too.
Yep.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
I look forward to seeing you in person. What, 10 minutes? No,
just 10 minutes. What? I'm just reading the comments. Okay, buy your book to buy Gene. Okay.
Those are supportive people right there.
Someone's pushing the book. Yeah.
And they like us. So that's nice.
Let's see.
They like you.
Who are these people? That's really great. My mom is a realtor. Everyone should know about real estate. Yes. And everyone should read the book called The Color of Law. Richard Rothstein. In fact.
Yeah, put it in there. And I'll put it in the follow-up because I know that that's your
well, this one
well-posted book.
This one can help folks feel like they are the smartest one. Richard Rothstein. Great book on how the United States government policy segregated this country and created all kinds of stuff
things
that we've inherited.
I was going to say things that we continue to live in.
Everyone should know about real estate. Yes. Take a walk in the grass. Take a deep breath. Yeah. Yes, grateful for your reminders, hiking and centering the top of mountains in Alaska. That's Christina. Love you, Malik. Jean-Marie.
Oui.
Thank you. Thank you. This was brilliant. Bless you both. Okay. Just bought 3 copies for my friends. I'm assuming that's your book that they bought
Well,
3 copies of.
otherwise Richard is going to be sending you a nice
Yeah.
check. All right, my friend, we need to wrap up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank Malik Yoba for being here, also being a steady force in my life, which I'm grateful for. Mwah.
Good
So,
stuff, girl. Thank you.
yes, thank you. Have a
All
great
right.
night, everyone.
Peace. Love you.
Love you too.